Aliens is an undisputed sci-fi classic that's left an indelible mark on pop culture, and no medium has soaked up more of its broad and lasting influence than video games. The desperate conflict between a squad of cynical and badass but nervously vulnerable Colonial Marines and a lethal horde of sleek, deadly xenomorphs has echoed through countless game worlds. From Contra to Half-Life and Halo to Dead Space, its influence is hard to overstate.
Attention chicks and dicks of the USS Sephora!
Aliens Colonial Marines was conceived with access to some of the film's original creators and even designed to be official canon by the corporate stewards of the franchise. It has legit written all over it, but while there's ample gore, acid blood, and all the persistent modulating whine of Marines' pulse rifles, the film's nerve-wracking tension just isn't there. For all the attention paid to the source material, it just doesn't feel like Aliens.
Understood, Winter. Good hunting and save some for me.
The game's cinematic approach invests much effort in creating an atmosphere of authenticity, attempting to riff on Aliens' major themes by leading a small cast of original characters through the wreckage of the film's aftermath, touring the military ship Sulaco and Hadley's Hope, the alien-infested planetary colony. You play as Corporal Winter, who in stark contrast to the willful and insubordinate Marines in the film, seemingly lives to follow orders. It's clear from the get-go that you're participating in what will be a highly directed adventure, which puts an enormous onus on the game.
No heroics, no bullshit.
It doesn't take long to realize you're part of a B-squad, stuck in the original cast's shadow, with so-called legendary weapons lying around to evoke better quotes and stronger characters. The beard and bandana sporting O'Neill falls short of memorable, but brings some actual emotion to his job. The only semi-tough Bella attempts to fill in for fan-favorite Vasquez, but she's also drawn the short straw to play the story's victim, and ends up grist for an entirely unaffecting plot. The weak characterization could certainly be better, but it's the Marines' behavior in battle that's the real problem.
Fuck did you just say to me?
Your squaddies can fight, but they're incapable of making eye contact and spit out their lines with no regard for the situation at hand.
Weapons hot! Fire!
They're also completely unkillable outside the game's weirdly detached cutscenes. Automated and indestructible combat dummies incapable of inspiring concern, care, or camaraderie. These folks can't begin to contemplate the meaning of "game over, man," and their presence wrecks any sense of tension or danger you might feel while running the gauntlet to your next waypoint. Meanwhile, your own slightly more vulnerable character will regenerate his health if you don't lose an entire segment at once, and ammo, med packs, and armor are strewn throughout the beat-up and battle-scarred environments.
Shit's getting scary!
The odds, frankly, seem stacked against Team Xeno. Typically waiting for you to come within range before scurrying up and entering a sort of awkward battle shuffle, the aliens are more reminiscent of the mindless zombies from Resident Evil than the menacing killing machines from the film. It's difficult to mentally connect the staged carnage representing your fellow fallen Marines with the ineffectual assaults your team experiences. You can watch your motion sensor in hopes of detecting movement, but there's never really the sense that you're being stalked by an intelligent enemy. And you'll always get a warning ping anyway. In addition to bug hunting, you'll do some man-shooting thanks to the presence of numerous human mercenaries. They do add some variety to gameplay, forcing you to crouch behind cover from time to time, but while they're much more likely to off you than the purported deadliest species in the galaxy, they're not any smarter, and these extended skirmishes pull the game farther away from its distinct identity. Throw in long-distance acid spitters, a decent boxing match pitting you in a power loader against a burly bug heavyweight, and a mildly spooky stealth section where you go without weapons, and the game is more or less out of tricks until a laughably dull final confrontation. You may walk away with a few memorable war stories, but the idiotic AI and easy-to-spot fakery is always in danger of screwing things up. The combatants fail to impress, but the weapons fulfill their basic function and aliens explode into chunks often enough to reward your marksmanship. The game takes some liberties in expanding the arsenal, making sure every Marine has access to shotguns and equipping players for long-range battles. The feel isn't that different from other modern first-person shooters, but the distinctive sound of the pulse rifle is recreated well enough to transport players to the movies for brief moments. Likewise, the smart gun with an auto-targeting feature that assists in tracking and dispatching targets feels true to the films and is a far better power trip than the stationary turrets you see in every other action game. There are no overt issues with the controls, and the console version defaults to generous snap-to-target aim assistance, making it easy enough for less experienced players to jump into.
No heroics, no bullshit.
You'll want to kick up the default difficulty if you're looking for a challenge, particularly if you're playing cooperatively. It's debatable whether this makes the game more enjoyable, and teaming up comes with its own series of letdowns. Friendly fire is never a consideration despite the overt warnings from your fellow Marines.
Eyes up, people. Watch your rounds, no friendly fire.
Focus, let's keep moving!
and cramped hallways always have multiple soldiers shooting through each other in hopes of scoring a few kills to accrue experience and unlock weapon attachments and character customization options, which slowly accumulate as you grind away in any game mode. Soldiers low on health can purposefully go down for the count in order to be revived by a squad mate with a full life bar. The game's secondary objective, at which it succeeds with a few caveats, is to deliver players a multiplayer component that pits aliens and Marines against each other in endless, brutal combat that highlights the differences between the two species. While balance is highly suspect and controlling an alien in third person sometimes means fighting level geometry and painting Marines with seemingly weightless blows until they keel over, it's here that real ambush is possible and motion trackers actually mean something. It doesn't feel consistent or polished enough to be played as a sport, but it ends up being a lot of fun in spite of this. Among standard deathmatch and point capture variants, the escape game type, in which a group of Marines tries to make it through a series of checkpoints as aliens press the attack, is the one that truly stands out, taking obvious inspiration from Valve's Left 4 Dead series. Strangely, one of the modes that makes the most sense thematically, human Marines versus hordes of non-player aliens, is set to arrive after release as downloadable content. Despite the game's best intentions to immerse you in the Aliens universe, the result is a bloody massacre. Relying on dated storytelling techniques and technology, and stretching way too far to provide a plausible link between the second and third films, Aliens Colonial Marines isn't able to connect its action to any real sense of drama or terror, completely missing the aspect of psychological horror that gave the film its edge.
It's fine! It's fine! We're fine!
Game over, man! See this and other GT shows and game reviews on the GT Originals iOS app, available now on the App Store.